Jackson. What's up, brother?
How you doing? Good to see you again.
So good to see you. We've been talking about a lot of things, but I wanted to talk to Damone today a little bit about what informed his rise from being this prodigy, kind of felt like he came out of nowhere in Buffalo, to this place where, with the Damone Jackson Outcome now, he's carved out a place for himself and his bandmates and their creativity that is wholly his own, and that the entire Buffalo music and arts community has noticed, and now we're starting to see it affect others too in a very positive way. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Damone. Is a guy who likes an awful lot of different music, and I know he likes an awful lot of different drummers, and I'd love to hear about, I guess, start at the beginning, who or what made you want to play?
Oh man, who is? I come from a very big musically inclined family.
Yeah.
On both sides of my family, you know, my mom, bunch of singers. Her father was a pastor and also a singer. Her brother is a pastor and a singer, organ player in gospel music.
So you were hearing it in church like from forever.
Inside my mom's belly, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, my mom always said that I was drumming inside of her. You know, and I come from a slew of drummers too. One being Alan Jackson on my father's side of the family. Hell of a drummer in Buffalo, gospel drummer. Also, I have a cousin, first blood cousin, by the name of Jonathan Joseph.
Played with Jeff Beck.
Played with Jeff Beck.
He was in town, right?
He was just here Tuesday. He was just here on Tuesday, and he played my drums, and that was a beautiful thing to see.
He showed up at CPG.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's just that was a treat all by itself.
That's just awesome.
So yeah, you know, I come from a very strong musical background for sure. But as far as who, I would have to say three drummers off the bat that I grew up watching. One, I stumbled across Buddy Rich playing on Sesame Street.
Awesome.
And I'll tell you what, that was something. This was before YouTube came out, so I never forgot that. And then when YouTube came around, that same video was on YouTube, and I'm like, I remember this to the T, you know.
That's some snare playing.
Oh man, there's things that he does that's just undescribable.
Yeah.
You know. So, you know, seeing that and just being absolutely glued to the television. I wish DVR was a thing back then.
Yeah, right.
Man,
I watch it over and over. Yeah.
So there's him, Dennis Chambers.
Yeah.
Dennis Chambers, and Tony Royster Jr. when he was like a baby. Because I remember the church I was going to at the time, this drummer by the name of Keith. I don't know his last name, but his name was Keith. He gave me this VHS tape of Dennis Chambers and Tony Royster Jr. doing like this it was like a clinic, but it was also a performance too. But Tony Royster Jr. was like 14 at the time, right? But they showed his drum solo when he was 11 at like the Modern Drummer Festival, and I'm like, this is it, right here. You know, as a kid, you just think it's all about the fast chops, because as a kid, there's no structure.
Yeah, you don't know.
Which is okay.
Yeah.
But then as you get older and you find out how grueling this lifestyle is, it's like, okay, now you have to know how to survive on the road. And I like drummers like that, man. I like drummers who not only play well, but survive. Like, okay, they've been around since the 80s or the 70s, you know, or the early 90s.
Still killing it.
You know, and still killing it. Like Carter Beauford is another one. You know, the oldest member in Dave Matthews in his 60s, still playing. And
I always think of him like he's the most energetic guy on stage every time.
It doesn't make any sense, man. It's just like,
so awesome.
Damn, that's beautiful.
Speaking of Dennis and Billy Cobb, I mean, you hear some of that in Carter, even though Carter really brought something kind of unique. I feel like I always thought you could hear the Billy Cobb in him. You could hear Dennis a little bit. You could hear guys like Manu Katché, and his hi-hat work.
Lenny White, a lot of Lenny White
time
stuff.
with the cymbals and
Yeah, man. Yeah, Stuart Copeland.
big time.
You know,
These are,
with the, you know, he's effortless.
yeah,
You know, number one, but he's so controlled and so relaxed, and just like
nothing sounds
that.
forced.
Yeah,
So
you know that, and again, that I feel like that's, as a drummer, that's very hard to master.
Yeah.
My assistant principal at the time in middle school, I was getting ready to go into my freshman year in high school. He knew that I was a drummer, but I never really heard Rush before. I never really heard rock. I've heard rock drumming, but not in a progressive way.
Yeah.
So he gave me he let me borrow the R30 DVD. Now, you know, I come from a church gospel background.
Yeah.
None of that's being played in my house.
No.
Okay, let's just be honest. I bring this stuff home. My mom is like, "What is that you're listening to?"
Yeah.
You know, Geddy Lee's voice and stuff. But then she saw how big Neil's drum kit was, and she's like, "Oh my God, he's playing all that." I'm like, "Yeah, look at this."
Nothing is for show either.
No, he's playing. He is playing all this stuff. You know, freshman year and sophomore year. That's when I started really digging into Rush.
Yeah.
Big time. My teacher finds out that I'm a drummer, so we started talking about Bastille Day, and obviously Rush has a song called Bastille Day, and he's like, "Damone, I'm gonna play this song, and I'm telling you, like, I know you're a drummer. When you hear these drums, here it is. Like, this is what's gonna happen, you know." And I'm like, "Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about." And I'm like, "It is that guy, is that Neil Peart guy again?" You know, and I'm like, oh man, here it is again. And I found out that they were coming. Rush was coming to Darien Lake, July 4th. I'll never forget this date, July 4th, 2007.
Yep.
It rained all day until Rush came out, and then it stopped.
Yep.
That rain stopped, and then they took an intermission, and it rained again. Then it came back out on stage and stopped. Then they got done with the show, and it was like downpouring for the next 2 days. How symbolic is that?
It's awesome.
I'm assuming you were at that show.
Of course.
So now imagine me as a 16-year-old seeing this for the first time, and he did a solo. It was the Snakes and Arrows tour.
I saw them 40 times.
Man.
And it was in the top 5. They were my first show. I was 12.
Wow.
Permanent Wave.
Wow.
So that you don't get over this stuff.
No.
I like all kinds of different music that has a place in my heart like no other, you know, because it was first.
Right. Get chills just thinking about it, man.
And he was, you know, good human and intelligent, kind of a good role model. I always thought.
Yeah.
You know, this really, really serious musician,
craftsman. If there was any drummer that I would like to be like as a person, at the time, like, he had a really big influence on me on my playing, but it was like, man, I would like to be like this guy. You know? So I mean, there's man, the list can go on and on with drummers, man. There's so many stylistically, and I'm a big firm believer of versatility.
Yeah.
So I don't like to stay in one genre of music, especially for drums.
Yeah.
You know, because drums is such a universal language that, you know, in any style of music you'll hear some type of timing.
Definitely.
Or a percussion instrument, even though it doesn't have to be drums. It could be piano, you know, that's a percussion instrument, or something.
But something's providing that heartbeat.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
I've been on this big JD Beck and Domi vibe lately. And
well, you're sitting at a kid that JD played an awful lot.
That's insane. That's nuts. That's just
right
nuts.
where you sit. He's something.
Yes.
And that actually feels like the future.
Yeah.
It's very, I don't know. This is where like my words kind of fail me when I see it. There's a lot of history in it, but it also feels like it's just pushing the envelope real far.
Yeah. And he's a minimalist too. Like, he doesn't have.
No.
He can play with these 3 elements right
That's
there.
it.
And it sounds like, man, where's there a ride cymbal he's playing? He's playing one cymbal.
One cymbal. It's interesting. You said, you know, you don't want to be bound by one style of music or even you know, a couple or whatever.
Mm.
This really says a lot about, at least from the outside, so you correct me if I'm wrong, about what the outcome was about from the beginning, and really what it became, what it is today,
right.
even more so.
Right.
You are in real time with a lot of improvisation, just pulling from wherever the hell you want to, you know, and all of it. Like, I feel like everyone who's on stage with you, they all have this history of listening and maybe studying so many kinds of music, and everybody can pull from it, you know?
Yeah, I would have to say it's an immense amount of trust going on. Having the trust, like, I tell my guys, you know, and girl, you know, I tell them, like, be you, be honest, have fun, you know, have fun with what you're doing. But I don't want you to feel like you're within your own box. I want you to feel like that you're welcome here. But there has to be a structure somewhere.
Right.
You know? So if I belt out something, hey, like, let's break it down here, or let's, you know, let me just get, like, guitar and, like, percussion and drums.
Yeah.
Like, I need you to cut out right there.
Yeah, like on the head.
So it's a matter of, like, a lot of listening, a lot of improv, a lot of looking, but knowing that, okay, like, we have the musical knowledge to make it do what it's gonna do, and I put that on them. I don't put it on me. You know, I lead the band, but they have full reign to change keys, to change time signatures, and either they're gonna lead it or I'm gonna lead it, and we kind of just end when we feel like it.
Right.
You know, but the word trust is definitely
that's big.
As well as your playing ability, how well can you listen? You know, and I feel like I'll take more of how well do you listen rather than how well you can play, because if you play with us, or if you get a month out of playing with us, you'll learn as you go.
Yeah.
You know, by the players that are surrounding you.
That's right. That's right.
Harry alone is 7 different musicians all in one person. You know, and then you still got George, you still got Micro Rapoli, you still got DJ Psych, and DJ Psych, man, let me just tell you something.
That was a game changer in a lot of ways.
Yeah, yeah. He is one of the most hardest working, not musicians, but people I've ever met. The emotion behind each note that he has shows how great his work ethic is. You know, and that's very rare. You've heard our latest live recording, and that, if I don't tell you that we improvise, you will think like, man, like, how do you guys rehearse all this stuff? And when I tell people that we don't rehearse, none of us, we rehearsed one time, and that was just to write new tunes.
Right.
But everything that we do is coming straight off the dome in real time, like you said.
That's what makes it so
and
thrilling, man.
Yeah, because people always ask me, like, what do you consider yourself as like a genre? And I'm just like, listen, it's experimental, like, improvisation.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if that's a real category of genre, but we never know what's coming.
That's right.
Neither are you.
Right.
So when you hear the outcome, that you got to pay attention to the word outcome.
Right.
You know, because if you look up the definition of that, that's something that's of the unknown. We don't know what the outcome is until it happens, but it has to happen at that time.
That's right.
You can have a plan. The goal is to have a Grammy Award by next year, but what if that don't happen? Then what else are you gonna do? What is the outcome gonna be?
We pivot and we create a new outcome.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
You know, and that happens on the spot, or you have to do something to make it happen.
Appreciate you for the inspiration.
Thanks for having me,
for the amazing music, dude. And looking forward to the future. And everybody go down to CPG every Tuesday.
7 o'clock, $5 at the door. That would be great if y'all could come. Well, if I can see any of y'all come through, man, it's something. It's an experience there. Let me just tell you. So we hope to see you down there.
Thank you, Damone.
Thank you.